Congratulations, winning your 69th title Tuesday last night. A big win today.
Hmm.
I imagine you're in quite high spirits right now.
I mean, I'm just tired. I mean, today was a tough game. I mean, yesterday was tough too, playing these title Tuesdays, and streaming. But yeah, I mean, I thought I played a pretty good game. I was a little bit lucky that Pragg walked into something I had prepared about a month ago. So yeah, it all kind of worked out today. It's all good.
And actually, Jon Ludwig was wondering if we could do things in reverse. And before we go to your game, just very quickly get your thoughts on this live position between Vidit and Nepo.
Yeah, I mean, I was very confused by this whole thing because first of all, I thought that Nepo was much better, like out of the opening. I thought, I mean, I just liked his position a lot. Maybe I'm crazy, but I liked his position somewhere around C5. I mean, maybe I was misevaluating, but I thought he was up a ton of time on the clock. It looked like just a pleasant middle game where White has double C pawns, and so I thought Nepo was going to win very early on. And then somewhere later on, I started to think Vidit might actually be better. Um, but I mean, it's just kind of insane, and who really cares anyway?
Do you really not care? I mean, if Jan doesn't win, you'll be in the joint lead. And I know there's
Well,
still
I mean,
three rounds
I
to
mean,
go.
assuming that Jan doesn't win, I'm tied for the lead with Gukesh, right? Isn't Gukesh on +2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if this is just Jan, maybe, but I mean, there is another guy on +2 as well, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I'm just trying to play good chess, and really for me today, the main thing that was important is I made sure to move quickly. Like I refused to get into time pressure like I had done the last couple of games. And even though I think my moves weren't perfect, I think they were very logical and very sound. Even if they weren't super precise, I thought I played a very, very good game.
I agree. Can you say something about the thing that interested me quite a bit here is when you ended up putting all your pawns on the light squares, even if you have the light squared bishop.
Well,
Um,
I mean, mainly it's what else am I supposed to do? I mean, because I wanted to play like Rook D4 or move the knight or something, but I thought going for G6, Knight D5, and F5 was very thematic. I mean, I wasn't really thinking about any of that stuff. I just thought put the pawns on good squares and go from there. But yeah, I mean, it was just the thing is though, I think a lot of my moves weren't the best moves, but as I said, like I refused to get into time pressure. Like I refused to get low on time. And so even if the moves weren't the absolute best ones, I think they were completely acceptable.
One quick question. You mentioned about the opening that this was something you looked at a month ago. We were informed and we looked at that game briefly. You also played this in Title Tuesday a couple of years ago. Is it something you had looked at before? Can
Well,
you?
I mean, you guys are out of touch. I don't know. I kind of played this in the Chess Champions Tour here in Toronto last November against a certain five-time world champion by the name of Magnus Carlsen.
Oh.
Like I don't know. I feel like that kind of was a slightly important person that I played it against. And I drew that game. I mean, it was D4, D5, C4, C5. But yeah, like I mean, obviously I played it against this guy by the name of Magnus, and so it wasn't a complete surprise, but I also thought like if I can play it against Magnus and Magnus doesn't know what to do, then it could be a very useful surprise in the candidates because no one's going to be expecting it.
And I guess you were happy with how it worked out.
I mean, the main thing is I was happy that he used a lot of time. I mean, I would say that especially without increment in the first control, there's a huge premium on surprising your opponent if they get low on time because bad things can happen very easily. So yeah, I mean, I was very pleased with the opening. I mean, I had this feeling that I was better. It's kind of similar to a couple of my other games where like I spent these very long, like 30 minutes, and then I usually made a mistake. And so I kind of told myself today, even when I was way up on time, just like don't get too low on time. Just don't get into time pressure. And that was sort of my general view of things. I mean, I could have been more of a perfectionist, maybe found some better moves, but I think what I did was just very, very reasonable overall.
When did you feel the trend started shifting? Because you mentioned we heard your interviews, you felt it was in the balance for a while, and there were a couple of moments where maybe you could have forced the draw, but you kept it going. And then when did you feel that things were turning in your favor?
I think once he played this Rook B1 move and I got this whole once I played G6, I would say, and I knew I had Knight D5 and F5 coming. That's when I knew that the game was going to get very spicy, especially because he was the one who was down on time. Yeah, once I got G6 and I saw the obvious idea of Knight D5 and F5, I knew that it was going to get complicated. And that's when I thought I had chances.
Actually, on our end, we felt that you were in control, and then when Pragg found this backward knight move, knight b1, you also didn't look too happy at that moment. Was that something you had
I mean,
maybe missed on
it's mainly because I thought that it's mainly because I thought that like the advantage was slipping away. That was the main thing in general terms. What I thought was going on. I felt like the advantage was kind of slipping away a little bit, and I didn't have obvious moves. So I mean, that's basically what happens. I didn't feel great at that moment. But again, I kept moving quickly. I didn't lose my nerve, which I think was really important. Really important to point out.
Hammer, should
So
we move forward in the game a bit?
Yeah, no, but I mean, if Hikaru is a bit tired, he already did like 5 interviews and we saw 2 of them.
yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is like somewhere around here, I knew I was going to get chances, and the most important thing was just to stay very calm. That was the most important thing, and I think I did a very good job of that. Like you didn't see me panicking today, unlike in some of the other games that I played recently.
What are your expectations for the game against Purusha?
Well, I mean, it's a big game. Obviously, he had a nice win today. I mean, to give you guys a class line, the bro thought he was Hikaru. He played one of those openings that I played online a bazillion times. This knight f3 b3 stuff, which I mean was pretty funny to see. Also funny because I briefly considered doing that against Abasov in the previous round too, actually. So it's kind of funny to see him do that and win very quickly. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously a big game, and you know, still a long way to go in this tournament. So just taking it one game at a time.
Do you think it's maybe, I mean, you are the oldest player in the tournament. There's quite a lot of rest days towards the end. Do you feel, not it favors you, but are you happy about there being another rest day coming up in 2 days?
Yeah, I mean it's no secret or surprise, and I've said it before. Obviously everybody who's here has had much more time to prepare for the event than I have. I mean, I am a streamer. Like I don't need to belabor the point, but like I haven't had, you know, I didn't have months and months to prepare for this tournament the way other players did. Obviously I stream a lot, so and on top of that, I'm the oldest player by, I mean, I guess Nepo is relatively close, but you know, a lot of these guys are like half my age. So yeah, I think having rest days is definitely beneficial to me, and I think I've done a good job of using them. I actually don't know if yesterday was correct because I did feel really tired this morning after streaming Title Tuesday yesterday, but still, I feel like having plenty of time is always a good thing. Plenty of rest days, I should say.
And I had a final question, which is now, Hammer, help me out here while I think of my question again. Do you have anything else?
I have a
Oh,
question
yeah.
about your decision on move 12, whether to castle or go king e7. Now, I was advocating king e7 because it lets the king stay in the center in a potential end game, but chat was very
Well, it's a
eager
bond
that
cloud, of course.
obviously you were gonna go king e7 for the Bonk Cloud merch
Yeah,
shout
of course.
out, by the way.
I mean, obviously, but the point besides all the memes is that there was another line where the king goes to e7, so I already felt very comfortable putting the king in the center of the board.
I remembered my question. Oh,
Well,
Bambly.
thank you to Bembley. Thank you.
You know, you've mentioned so often in our interviews that for you it's all about playing good chess, and I think overall you have been playing great chess, but how difficult is it as the end of the tournament is upon us, 3 rounds to go, to just stick with that rather having the thoughts of, you know, the final of the standings creeping into your mind?
I mean, I would say actually it's not about the standings per se. And I've said this in a few interviews today already. I mean, I think I probably said it to you guys too. But you know, the one thing that I would say, and a lot of people like to bring up the Ding game, but at both the last game of the candidates in 2022, but also in the American Cup when I played Wesley So in the finals last year. Those are only 2 examples. There are other examples too. But generally it's more that like at the end of the event, I'm just like, I'm ready for it all to be over. Like I'm ready to like, I'm done studying, you know, 6 hours every day. I want to get back to streaming and all this other stuff. So it's like, I've had this feeling of like this wave of like, I'm ready for it all to just be over. Like I'm ready to get back to my real job and everything else more than it being actually pure pressure. And I think for me, that's the main thing, is just like finding a way to not have that feeling, like have that feeling where it's like, okay, it's all over. That's that. Like I'm like to just stay focused and stay in the moment until the last game actually is over. Thank you to Champ, by the way, for the gifted subs as well.
And to Talaraja.
Yes, that's my brother. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So yeah.
really?
Yes. But no, I mean, but the thing is, like I said, like it's not actually about the pressure itself. It's just the fact that I'm just ready for this whole stupid thing to be over. And I remember because against Wesley, it was the same way. I was ready for it all to be over, and then I had this Nimzo game in our first match before I lost that match, where I played a wrong move order or something, and he could have put a lot of pressure on me. He ended up misplaying it, so it was an easy draw. But like that was one example, besides the ding game, where it's just like I was just like, okay, it's over, you're done, you've done it. The mind just shuts off, and it's really important to focus on that. So like I'm still not thinking about winning the event. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to think that I'm just making this up, but at the end of the day, I just feel like play 3 good games. Even if I draw 3 games, I'll be happy. Like I'm not really thinking about it seriously.
And I just have one final question for tonight. You mentioned there, I'm done with spending 6 hours a day on chess. I don't know how much of that. Can you reveal how much you spend on site preparing on average, roughly preparing for
I
a
mean,
game?
I'm just going full throttle. I'm going 150% because when I'm at home, I'm putting in like 5%. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Maybe a final look at the Nepo game and we'll let you go.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I went into this.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't Nepo just better here now? Like King F5, King G4, maybe? I mean, White's pieces are so passive here. I mean, maybe it's still not a whole lot because if you ever go Rook A5, there's always Rook B1. But if time gets low, they get into a scramble. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I really like Nepo's chance to win this because Nepo is just a fantastic rapid and blitz player. So if they can get down to like 3 or 4 minutes, I think there's a very good chance that Nepo wins this. But I would say right now, I think it's pretty balanced.
Hey, well, we will stick around until the end. Hikaru, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
Congrats again and best of luck for tomorrow.
Well, the job's not over. I still got to go do a recap and suffer some more. So there is that. But yeah, I'll do my best. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for the recap, everybody. I'll see you two tomorrow. Okay.
Cheers. Have a good
Good
one.
luck.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.